In today's video, we will be making delicious homemade ramen. We will be using the regular ramen packets, but adding a bunch of ingredients to make a more elevated, delicious final product. This recipe is really not hard to make. It just has a lot of moving pieces. Once you've made it a few times, it really feels like an easy throw together weeknight meal. Here are the ingredients you will need to make this recipe. Starting off, you are going to make your chicken. While the chicken is cooking, measure out canola oil and heat it in a separate pan. Add 2 hearty spoonfuls of garlic and push it around with your fork until the garlic starts to darken. Take it off the heat and mix in the sesame oil. Pour this mixture into a separate container and set aside. Using that same pan, throw in a few tablespoons of sesame seeds and mix them on medium heat until they are a nice golden color. Pour the seeds into a separate container and put aside. Now it's time for the eggs. This is the hardest part for me because you don't want it to be a hard-boiled egg and you don't want it to be not cooked. You just want the middle yolk to be runny. So usually it ends up being about 4 minutes. If you use the more heavy-duty, organic, harder shell eggs, I guess, you might have to go just a tad bit longer. I usually just make a few extras so I can take one and kind of test it, see where you're at. Once those are done, you get those in cold water and you can wait until the very end to peel and cut the eggs. Pour the chicken broth into a pot and turn the heat up. Then get your water boiling for the noodles. Cook the noodles according to directions, making sure not to overcook them. We don't want soggy noodles. Next, it's time to chop up your green onions. If you have basil or cilantro or any other herb, feel free to add those here. When your chicken broth is warmed up, turn the heat down to low and keep the broth on the burner. The key to a good ramen is warm broth, so you really don't want that broth to get to a weird, coldish room temperature. So now you have all of the key ingredients. It is time for the fun part, to assemble the bowl. You're going to start by putting the noodles in the bottom of the bowl. Cut your egg in half. Hopefully you got the yolk right. Put that in there, add a splash of soy sauce in the yolk. Add the rest of the toppings, and then finally spoon in your broth. Here is your ramen. Eat it with chopsticks if you can and feel like a sophisticated chef who can take boring, cheap ramen and make it into this upscale culinary experience. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.